Hey everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we are doing the dreaded gutting the pre-cats. This is something that all 2000 to 2002 Toyota MR2 Spyders should consider doing. Just as a refresher, the pre-cats are located inside of the exhaust manifold. They're made of a ceramic material that oftentimes disintegrates, and as it disintegrates it gets sucked into the main catalytic converter, which eventually can cause engine failure. So the recommendation is to either buy aftermarket headers or to just gut the pre-cats by simply taking a screwdriver and a hammer once you get the exhaust manifold out of the car and then pounding it out, rinsing it out, putting everything back together. Now, from my research, the pre-cats were put inside of the exhaust manifold, one, to control smog, specifically in California, and two, so that Toyota could advertise the MR2 Spyder as emission friendly. They're not necessarily required, especially here in Wisconsin. I'm still gonna pass emissions with no problem. I just wanna take them out because there's always that constant fear driving around knowing that the pre-cats are in there and that at any time something can go wrong. So I'm gonna go ahead and gut the pre-cats. I've done a lot of the initial work already. Now we're kind of getting into the bread and butter of gutting the pre-cats. But just to go over what I've done so far. So I removed the O2 sensors, both O2 sensors, which are located just on top of the heat shield. I removed all the plastic kind of protectants underneath here just because we have to have access to underneath. Then we have the heat shield itself, which came off very easy once spraying with PB Blast. So the heat shield sits right here. This is the exhaust manifold right here. What I'll be doing next is we have 5 manifold nuts right here that have to come off. And then you may have heard of the 3 amigos, which are under the car. And there's gonna be one right there, another right there, and a third right there. So these 3 have to come off. I've already soaked them in PB Blast. And then we've got some bracket nuts right here that also have to come off. Here are the replacement nuts for the 3 amigos once I get them off, as well as the 2 manifold to downpipe gaskets. Then over here I have the 5 manifold nut replacements, as well as the engine to the manifold gasket. It's always recommended to replace these when doing this. The hardest part of gutting the pre-cats is getting the manifold nuts off. Fortunately, my car's pretty low in miles, 40,000 to be exact, and they look pretty good. I PB blasted them 3 separate times and really let it sit on there. So now I'm gonna set the camera up and see how lucky we get. Alright, so this one seems to be coming off no problems. Could be wrong. Can almost, oh yeah. There we go. Bam, there's one. Let's go for the next one. Oh yeah, that came off so nice. Honestly, I'm not really having to torque them all that hard. Just a little slow, steady force and they're loosening it up like a champ. All right, there's the second one. All right, that one, yep, that one broke free, nice. All right, so this is 3 out of 5 of the top ones. Doing pretty good. The other 2, I'm gonna have to get a different ratchet system, something that fits into a tighter space. So, ooh, the stud came out of this one, but the good news is that it didn't snap. So I should be able to just screw the stud back in and then tighten it there. It's hard to get in these tight spaces, so I'm just gonna try a wrench and a rubber mallet and just slightly tap it, see if I can get it loose enough to then do it by hand. All right, so I don't know if that loosened it at all. Let's find out. It sure did. For these two nuts, the ones where the headers kind of get in the way, I went ahead and just grabbed a normal wrench and put it on there and then lightly tapped it with a rubber mallet. And you guys, I can't make this up. It's coming on off. So far, we have 4 out of 5 of the top manifold nuts out. Only one of them where the actual thread came out, but it's not damaged. I can just kind of screw it back in. We should be good. Now, I have one more of the top manifold nuts to take off, but I took a little break and went down to the 3 Amigos. Utilizing a breaker bar, I was able to get the 3 Amigos out easier than these top nuts with no problem. I just loosened the nuts with the breaker bar and then switched to my socket wrench and took them out pretty effortlessly. I'm very excited. It feels good to have the 3 Amigos out. We're gonna get this last nut out, and then we have 2 of the bracket nuts, and then this bad boy can come out. So a little pro tip for you guys. On the top manifold, there's 5 nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The second one is kind of hard to access, but if you actually go under the header here, you'll have full access to it, no problem. It was definitely the toughest one to get off, but I got it off, no problems, and we officially have all the manifold nuts off. Now all we have to do is take the brackets off. It's a 10 millimeter and a 12 millimeter, a 14 millimeter, something like that. And then this exhaust manifold will come out and we can move on to actually gutting the precats. The brace bolts were the hardest. I just couldn't get a great angle in there, but eventually I figured it out. I was able to break them loose and we're all good. So now all of the manifold nuts, both the 3 Amigos and the 5 up top, as well as the 2 brace bolts, have been removed. So now the intake should just lift right up. We did it! There's a look once the manifold is off. So you can see the old manifold gasket. All my studs look good. Again, this one came out, but it didn't snap, so I'll drill it back on. And then there is where the 3 Amigos are. That's the down pipe. My flex pipes look really good. I actually have a jack stand holding it up just for some support. And then right here, right there, and over there are where the brace bolts were that I had to take out that were a pain in the butt. Now has come the time where we actually gut the precats. Now, the material that the precats are made out of is not a material that you want to be inhaling. So I'm going to be doing it outside near a dumpster in my condo complex with good ventilation. I've got a mask on just to be safe, and I'm going to use some gloves that I'm going to be then disposing of once this is over. Let's get to it. Alright, so there are the precats. Kind of see the honeycomb in there. That's what we're pounding out. So we have officially gutted the precats. Look at all of this debris, you guys. That's 2 pre-catalytic converters right there. Holy cow. So when you're done gutting, this is what it should look like. See that? Nice and, sorry, it's hard to film it. Nice and empty. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take water and I'm gonna pressure spray this out really good. Double check it, let it dry, and then we just put everything back in. There is a better look at everything that came out of that manifold. Wow. It's a lot of work. Took maybe 30 to 45 minutes to pound it out, but better to be safe than sorry. So I'm currently spraying down the manifold, but my neighbor just came out. Let me show you guys what he has. Ooh-wee. 2019 STI. Nick, what kind of wheels are these?
Work D9Rs. 19 by 9.5 plus 38 offset.
Yeah, so I have a little 4-cylinder Toyota and he's got the fun car. That's gonna sum it up for this part of everything. I have the exhaust manifold currently drying right now. So once that's dry, we'll put everything back together. I was able to get that stud back on threaded, no problems. Very excited about that. Now I'm not gonna record putting everything back together. It's really straightforward, but I will come back and show you the startup and also show you me checking for exhaust leaks. Welcome back everybody. Couple things. First, it's the 4th of July, so happy 4th to you guys. Secondly, don't mind my beautiful hairdo. I took a shower last night after putting in all that work on the pre-cats, and this is what happens when I don't shower the morning of. I was able to put all of the nuts and everything back together to get the manifold installed. Everything is looking good. I used some anti-seize just to make sure in the future if I ever have to take it off again or for some reason somebody else does, hoping I don't have to sell the car, but you never know, it'll be a lot easier, just like it was for me. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you guys all kind of the new nuts and whatnot, and that everything is back together. And then from there, what I am going to do is set the camera up, start the car, and we're gonna check for exhaust leaks. Top manifold nuts, torqued to 27. The three amigos looking fresh, torqued to 46. Then the two brackets here, torqued similarly up top, 27. O2 sensors, torqued to 32. Which, little pro tip, if you use anti-seize on these, make sure you only get it on the threads and not the O2 sensors themselves, as they're very sensitive. Everything's plugged back in, and now we start up and pray. Here we go. Hopefully everything's all right. You guys, that scared the crap out of me, but I had the car in gear, so it was trying to stall out. Wow, rookie mistake. Now we check for exhaust leaks. Well, there you have it, guys. Gutting the pre-cats. If I can do it, literally anyone can do it. I've never done a project this big, and I was able to figure it out. I am going to go ahead and burn off this PB blast that's on there and just try to get it so that there's no smoke coming from the engine, just so I can have a peace of mind. But before I go drive it, I'm gonna give my car its first oil change. Anyhow, thanks for watching. I hope you appreciated this video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Otherwise, like and subscribe.